Basically, this is very short. I'm going to keep this short. So now, this thing actually came into my mind, and something I actually learned from one of my role model, Alex Omozi. Basically, means that says that learning about something or exposure to learning isn't necessarily learning. That is exposure to education. Of course, it's something that I used to say you actually have to be educated. Now you have to move from the level of being educated. Now there are many times a lot of people, and this is something I've actually felt and I've seen people feel a lot of time, whereby they learn so much that they are paralyzed. One thing you should understand is that thinking about doing something is not the same as doing it. Planning about doing something is not the same thing as doing that thing. Going online or searching for something and see people doing that thing that you wish you planned or thought you would do is not the same thing as doing it. Hating on them or jealousing them or feeling like stole your idea. Nobody fucking stole your idea, man. You just didn't do it. So now a lot of time people go through this stuff I term as mental masturbation, whereby in their mind, in their head, they've done it. But it is yet to be manifested. It is yet to be made manifested in life. That is, they think about it. Mental masturbation is, in my own words, when you think you are doing something, thought about it, you've given it all the plans, all the actions in your mind, all the difficulties that are likely that will likely come up, and then in the real life you feel weak to actually do it because everything has played on your mind, everything has played on your head. So as a result of that, you necessarily do not, there's sometimes that we tend to not even do that thing which we plan to do in the very first place. So, and I think a lot of time, because I've actually been in that sense, in that area and position, whereby I was reading books back to back, and I'm not saying this is not contrary to what I say. I say a lot about reading because there are a lot of things that you do not know that reading or learning about them would help you to know that you don't know them, and then you know that you should know them, and then you know because you now know them. Do you understand? I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does. Alright, so but there are a lot of times that you would actually learn more by doing, like I will always say. Now, I was reading a book recently, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, which is the 5 AM Club, and then I grabbed the concept earlier on. I haven't finished it. Of course, I will definitely finish it, but I grabbed the concept earlier on, which is basically waking up 5 AM, doing your things, like having some hours to yourself, even before everybody wakes up, and then practically just do the thing which the book says you should do. Now, there are a lot of times as an entrepreneur, learning about sales is not the same thing as meeting somebody and actually trying to sell to them. If you learn and you read 10 books, nothing would work except the time you actually make the move to actually try that thing out, to actually do it. So exposure to learning is not the same thing as learning. It's not the same thing as doing. You say you know a lot, but then you've not done anything. It basically means you don't know anything. It's just the same thing as, and sometimes also, because if you actually do, you would actually learn. Now, there are most times that people do, they repeat the same thing, repeat the same phrase, and then they don't get the results that they desire because they've not learned from it. I cited this scenario, I think, to a team member one time ago, and then I told him, I was like, imagine me coming in your front, and then normally you see me, let's assume you don't know me, then I suddenly come into your front and I slap your face. Of course, you would be surprised. I'm like, what just happened? That is if you are not a violent person. Normally, I'm supposed to punch you. You're supposed to punch me back. But let's assume you are calm, meek, and everything. You would look at me and be like, what did I do? Now let's assume I go back again, and then I come the second time, and then I slap your face once again. Let's assume you still look at me and be like, bro, what's up? What's going on? Now, I go and then I come again, and then the third time, normally what you would expect is either you defend yourself by even before I do that thing and then you punch me back, or you weave the slap. That is because you've learned. Now most times many people get slapped a lot of times because they've not learned from that experience. You've been doing this, and you've been getting the same results. Now, there's a saying that the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over and over again, getting the same result over and over again, and still continuing to do that thing over and over again. You're not getting the results that you want, but you still continue to do that thing, and then you expect a good result to come out. That's the definition of madness, because it basically means that you don't know what you are doing, and being mad is basically being mindless. So you are not putting your mind into it. You understand? So one, you have to learn. Definitely you have to learn, but then you have to move from the phase of learning to actually doing it. There are many people that you have to go to the level whereby you have to be able to write your own book. Now when I mean writing your own book, I mean telling your own story. Now you can't tell your own story by basically just learning, just reading, or just learning, basically exposing yourself to learning. Of course, it's a good thing, but you only tell your story by doing what? By actually doing that which you're supposed to do, doing that which you learn about. There are many people that don't even commit a book because of what? Once they read the first chapter, they know what's about, and then they go on to it. Now, there are sometimes that many people don't actually learn what goes ahead, what goes in the front, and of course, it may affect in that you make some mistake that you have probably learned in the book. But doing it and then having that as a guide, as a tool to actually you moving forward to actually work more. So you should strike a balance between learning, doing, learn, do, learn, do, learn, do, learn, do, learn, do. You understand? So that way you actually get to move at a much more faster pace than somebody who just sits down in his room or in his own like couch, just reading and reading books after books and after books after books, and then basically being a scholar and that thing, but not actually being an action taker on that which is learning. And then after learning also, you do and learn from your mistake. Do you understand? So I hope I was able to provide a bit of value. So if truly you are getting value from this, I want you to share this to somebody who you feel this will benefit or will benefit from this, and also do well to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment or any question that you have. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. Peace.